God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 35 of Your Journey is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, and to your journey is not over. Neither are to be used, copied, or edited in any way without my consent. Well, as you could tell, I was what I like to call a normal teenager, living and doing things I considered to be normal at that time. Now I look back, nothing in my life was normal, but again, it was all I knew. There was always so much pressure put on me by others, to walk the line, do what others expected of me. I went to school, I got good grades, I participated and ran for and got president of different clubs at school. Had the radio station, which, by the way, was my favorite part about every day. That's where I could let my guards down and let my creativity come out as far as writing the PSAs, the public service announcements. I could research and cover topics that were considered taboo to speak on at that time. I always pushed the line, and also, if I'm being honest, it was a freeing feeling to put the headset on and be in total control of the energy, the conversation, the music, with one flip of a switch. Getting back to what I was saying, I always tried to people please and take on more than I actually could handle. As I've been told, still make everything look so balanced and easy. One of God's gifts, I call that. God gives me grace and confidence to always know that no matter what I face in life, to just hold on. He gives me strength, and he lets me know there's always going to be a brighter tomorrow. And my grandma always told me to never forget who I am and where I came from, and to always hold my head up. And most important, to never forget that I was made by God himself. So I cling to that during my hardest times on my journey. I have always had so much pressure on me, so many eyes watching me as far as family. Always almost craving for my brother and I to fail so that in some sad way, they would somehow be right. Instead of being a normal family, not competitive, actually cheering and rooting others on, instead of enjoying the downfalls, anticipating for my brother and I to turn out a certain way. Because we were poor, pitiful, pretty much misfits, the charity cases of the family. So expectations for us were pretty low. Well, with that kind of pressure on me early on, and then school, work, and all the extras, I had a lot of pressure. I gave them reasons to celebrate and high five a few times. They expected it and enjoyed the fact that they were right. I would disappoint, fail. But as my brother, whose opinion mattered to me, told me many times that if I hadn't made certain decisions along my journey, then I would be pretty close to perfect. And then he would laugh and say, "That's scary." Because of the pressure, it was like I wasn't allowed to be human. Like I said in a previous podcast, there have always, my whole life, been standards put on me that others themselves can't even live up to, or that they don't hold themselves or their own kids to. Again, born into this. And people on the outside looking into my life had no clue the immense amount of pressure, the scrutiny I was always under to do the right thing, make the right moves, make the right decisions. And it wasn't until I began my yellow brick road, my healing journey, that I even realized this very thing. I might have made it look so easy, And looking back now, I can't even begin to know how I made it look so easy with the pressure and the expectations and all the massive trauma I had experienced and survived and packed away. I ran my whole life on complete trauma responses, just like the speeding ticket that, mind you, I paid for with my own money. I didn't have a parent to pay for it and take care of it. If I had of, would I have learned my lesson? Most likely not. And guess what? I wouldn't get another speeding ticket for 20 years. So I definitely learned a lesson. But a normal teenage mistake, right? One would think, right? Wrong. Because it was in the newspaper, every person in my family read it and knew about it. It was a big deal, and everyone had something to say. That was just the beginning of me going down the wrong path, getting in trouble. That speeding ticket was going to lead to bigger things. Again, it was just the beginning. Even though their own kids were smoking dope, getting DUIs, getting public intox tickets, stealing cars, being located in drug addict crack houses. Yes, all of that. In my family, nobody ever talked about all of that. That was hush hush, swept under the rug. Other kids were allowed to make mistakes and it not be a complete humiliation or embarrassment. Not I. People focused so much on my brother and I. And then when my brother made everyone so proud and enlisted in the Army and got out of Dodge, then all of that fell on me. Again, looking back now, I have to say, thank you, actually. Because of the expectations that were set on me by my family, the people that should have wanted more for me, that should have loved me and prayed for me to overcome and become better and do better in my life. Instead, waited and prayed for my downfalls and even enjoyed them because in some twisted way, those downfalls made them right about how I was going to turn out. Now, again, looking back, I guess the only question I would have is how a family could be that way to a little girl that had been born into a world and put through hell because I was born to a person who was completely unstable in every way in life, emotionally and mentally unstable. And looking back, that little girl needed love, compassion, support, security, and safety and understanding. And most of the time, she needed food. As I will always say, please be kind and compassionate. We never know what a person's going through or has been through. And no matter how much light a person displays, and no matter how big the smile on their face, and no matter how they carry themselves, everyone is dealing with their own traumas and each do it in their own way. And no one sees the tears that are shed in silence, behind closed doors, the complete meltdowns, the heart wrenching pain that is dealt with, again, behind closed doors, in private. Just so that person can show up with the love and the light and with a smile to hopefully, even in times of despair, to hopefully bring some love and light to someone else. We all have our own internal battles. Do you choose to walk through the fire and into the light, into a better version, the best version of you? Heal your trauma so that the fire doesn't consume you and your soul? Or do you stay stuck in that fire and let it consume you and everyone and everything around you? Only person that can make that decision is you. I can't stay stuck in the past, and my perseverance has never allowed me to. I never wanted to. And so much pressure early on, somehow by the grace of God, gave me the strength, the resilience, and the drive to want to disappoint those people that had, because of my childhood, had set a narrative of my life or how they thought my life was supposed to go. Truly, my nature has always been, let me see how quick I can prove others wrong. And it has always gave me the drive. I take those projections from others and I alchemize that energy and I use it for something good. Now that's magic. I do not own the rights to the things that I chose to share today. This is called the no coincidence theory. Nothing is random, not the pain you feel, not the people you meet, not the places you end up. The universe doesn't make mistakes, and it moves you, breaks you, and builds you with purpose. Heartbreak shapes you, change forces you to grow, delays slow you down for a reason. You weren't lost, you were being placed. There were no coincidences, only alignment disguised as chaos. One thing I've learned, life is a paradox. In order to heal, you must hurt. In order to love, you must break open. In order to have peace, you must face chaos. Never regret experiences in life because it is always meant to bring balance. The light always follows. No one knows how many times you've had to silently heal yourself to become the person that you are today, because no one fully understands the battles that you fought within yourself. The moments you had to be your own healer, your own motivator, your own safe place. And yet, here you are, calmer, wiser, stronger. That in itself is something to be proud of. You said you wanted more, so don't act surprised when life demands more from you. More effort, more discipline, more sacrifice. This isn't punishment, it's the price of admission. You don't get to chase big dreams with bad habits. If you're tired, good. That means you're doing it right. That means you're in the middle of becoming who you said you wanted to be. Keep going. Don't quit now. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday. Listen in. And always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been